Brant was a jester, a wisp of a man with a beard like a tangled bird's nest. His laughter was infectious, echoing through the bustling marketplace where the carnival had set up camp. He juggled bright balls, their colours a blur against the tapestry of vibrant tents. Children shrieked with delight at his antics, their parents tossing coins into his upturned hat. His bony fingers danced through the air, plucking jokes from thin air like ripe plums. The world was a stage, and Brant, the jester, played his part with gusto. But even jesters dream, and Brant's dreams were filled with long shadows and whispering trees. He yearned for something more than the transient joy of the carnival, the fleeting applause of strangers. He felt a pull towards the unknown, a whisper on the wind that spoke of ancient secrets and forgotten magic. The carnival moved from town to town, a kaleidoscope of sound and color against the drab backdrop of everyday life. Brant, with his quick wit and even quicker hands, was a favorite among the townsfolk. He brought laughter to their weary hearts, a temporary escape from the mundane. Yet, beneath the surface of his jester's facade, a darkness stirred, a yearning for something more profound than the fleeting joy of the crowd. A shadow fell upon the land, a creeping darkness that silenced the laughter and stilled the music. The plague arrived silently at first, a whisper on the wind that spoke of sickness and death. It spread like wildfire, consuming entire villages in its wake. The carnival, once a beacon of joy, became a ghost town, its tents empty, its laughter replaced by the groans of the dying. Panic seized the townsfolk. They turned on each other, fear twisting their faces into grotesque masks. The carnival folk, once welcomed with open arms, were now shunned, blamed for bringing the plague upon them. Brant, his jester's bells silenced, watched in horror as the world he knew crumbled around him. Forced to flee into the depths of the woods, Brant abandoned his colorful garb, his laughter dying in his throat. The forest welcomed him with open arms, its silence a balm to his ravaged soul. The trees, gnarled and ancient, whispered secrets in the wind, their branches reaching out to him like skeletal fingers. It was here, in the heart of the wilderness, that Brant's transformation began. The forest was a place of shadows and whispers, where the sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy of leaves. Brant, his jester's spirit broken, wandered aimlessly, his stomach gnawing with hunger, his heart heavy with despair. He had never felt so alone, so utterly lost. One day, as he sat slumped against the trunk of a giant oak, a flash of movement caught his eye. A tiny squirrel, its fur the color of autumn leaves, perched on a branch above him, its bright eyes studying him intently. Brant, desperate for any kind of companionship, offered the squirrel a piece of dried fruit, the last of his meager rations. The squirrel, after a moment's hesitation, scampered down and snatched the fruit from his outstretched hand. Thus began Brant's unlikely friendship with the squirrel he named Imp. Imp, with his quick movements and mischievous nature, became Brant's constant companion, a tiny spark of light in the encroaching darkness. Imp led Brant to hidden streams where he could quench his thirst and showed him which berries were safe to eat. The forest, once a source of fear, was slowly becoming Brant's sanctuary. I'll pause 3S. The forest, once a labyrinth of shadows and fear, was now a place where Brant wandered, seeking answers. One fateful night he encountered a dark figure whose eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. It was Satan himself, offering Brant a deal. They stood before an ancient crumbling tower, shrouded in an eerie, otherworldly glow. Satan presented Brant with a black book, a tome of dark power. With trembling hands but a heart full of desire, Brant signed his name. From that day onward, the forest became a place of despair and decay. Brant, now bound by the Pact, was transformed into the Warlock of the woods. With his newfound supernatural powers, he wielded dark magic and abilities beyond mortal comprehension. His eyes, once filled with hope, now glowed with a sinister light. Brant had become a figure of fear, a shadow in the woods. He embraced his new identity, and the forest, now his domain, bent to his will. With a solemn vow, he pledged to protect the woods with his newfound powers, even as he remained bound by his dark pact. The air shimmered with a dark energy, and the trees, once withered and lifeless, began to bloom under his dark influence. The Warlock, now a master of the woods, ruled with an iron fist, no longer a broken jester, but a figure of power. The villagers who had once shunned him now feared him with every fiber of their being. The forest, now under his dark rule, flourished, a testament to the power of dark magic and ambition. And so, Brant's journey came full circle, his spirit renewed by the very woods that had once been his prison.